Good morning, everyone. Today we'll be exploring one main theme in Stedman's novel, The Life Between Oceans: the influence of religion on the moral decisions of its characters, in particular the protagonists, Tom and Isabel. The novel, set in post-World War I in Australia, tells the story of Tom, a lighthouse keeper, and his wife Isabel, who make a life-changing decision after discovering a baby in an abandoned bungee. The decisions evolve into intense moral dilemmas and deep emotional consequences for both. Tom's internal struggle with his conscious mind is heavily influenced by his Christian belief. We can wonder, how does religion influence the moral decisions and internal conflicts of the characters in The Life Between Oceans, and what does it reveal about the broader theme of sin, guilt, and redemption in the novel? In this presentation, we will put under study how Tom's Christian values shape his moral duties, how he confronts with the tension between personal desire and ethical duty, and the themes of guilt and redemption are introduced into his storyline. We will also consider larger Christian concepts such as religious imagery and symbolism, with the role of theodicy, all of which deeply influence Tom's actions and the resolution of the novel.
The novel is set in the aftermath of World War I, during a time when Christian values were deeply ingrained in the fabric of Western society, particularly in Australia, where the story takes place. The character's understanding of right and wrong is heavily influenced by Christian teachings, even if they are not explicitly religious. Tom is a war veteran and portrayed as a man of integrity, deeply committed to doing what is morally right. His sense of duty and responsibility, shaped by his upbringing and societal expectations, aligns with Christian ideals of honesty, justice, and self-sacrifice. Throughout the novel, Tom struggles with the ethical implications of keeping Lucy, knowing it's against both legal and moral principles. His internal conflict is reflective of a Christian moral struggle where he must choose between personal happiness and adhering to what he knows is right. This creates a contrast between the moral and legal dubious decision of Isabel and Tom, with Isabel's exemplary actions as a caregiver. This creates a tension between judgment and emotional reality. Isabel's decisions are also influenced by a moral framework that, while less rigid than Tom's, is still rooted in Christian values. Her desperate desire to be a mother leads her to rationalize their actions by convincing herself that Lucy was a gift from God, especially after her miscarriages. This rationalization highlights the tension between personal desires and moral obligations, a common theme in Christian teachings where individuals are often challenged to put their faith and moral principles above personal gain. Shooting the snake is a metaphor and highlights moral complexity and the difficulty of separating right and wrong with a clear cut.
The novel's exploration of sin, guilt, and redemption is deeply connected to Christian theology, which views these concepts as a major part of a human lifespan. So first, sin and guilt. The decision to keep Lucy is portrayed as a sin in the Christian sense, a conscious act of wrongdoing that goes against both human and divine law. Tom, in particular, is burdened by guilt, a feeling that can be seen as a reflection of religious guilt, where one feels the weight of their actions, not just in legal terms, but also in terms of their spiritual and moral consequences. The guilt eats away at Tom as he struggles to express his love for Lucy with the knowledge that what they have done is wrong. This quote reflects how guilt over past sins intensifies over time, Tom feels trapped in his past actions with his guilt. The imagery of being physically held in each moment highlights how sin creates a mental prison, causing both psychological and physical torment. The quest of redemption. The novel offers a view of the quest of redemption. Tom seeks redemption by confessing to the authorities, a step that can be seen as an attempt to make up for his. His confession is the act of the Christian Bible, where admitting one's sins is a step toward absolution. However, the novel suggests that redemption is not easily gained. It requires sacrifice, suffering, and willingness to face the consequences of one's actions. Tom's redemption is not just about legal justice, but also about being at peace with himself. In this code, the Christian stab him, personify the Christian by giving it the human-like ability to stab, symbolizing the deep emotional pain of guilt the character feels. I'm sorrier than I can say shows that he feels overwhelming regret, which is essential for redemption, acknowledging his guilt.
The novel uses religious imagery and symbolism to deepen its exploration of moral and ethical dilemmas. The lighthouse on Janus Rock is a common symbol representing moral clarity, guidance, and truth, concepts often associated with divine light in Christian symbolism. The lighthouse guides ships to safety, just as moral principles guide individuals to make righteous decisions. However, the ocean, with its vastness and unpredictability, symbolizes moral ambiguity and the depths of human emotion and decision-making. The setting thus reflects the central conflict of the novel, the tension between the clarity of right and wrong, light, and the murky waters of human desires and moral compromises, darkness. This simile emphasizes the vastness of the ocean, creating a parallel with the broad range of human emotion. Names in the novel carry religious connotations. Isabel's name is derived from Elizabeth, which means God is my oath, suggesting a connection to divine promises or duties. Lucy's name, meaning light, further reinforces the theme of moral clarity and truth. These names subtly underscore the characters' roles in the moral and ethical narrative of the story.
Religious institutions and societal norms, heavily influenced by Christian values, play a significant role in shaping the character's action and the narrative's development. In the novel, marriage is depicted as a sacred bond, which is a religious concept. Tom and Isabel's marriage is initially strong and passionate, but the secret begins to fade their bond and weaken this strong link. Their desire to be parents, especially Isabel longing for motherhood, is driven by societal expectations that are rooted into religious ideals. Motherhood is seen as a woman's highest calling, and Isabel's inability to have children is a source of deep, profound personal conflict, leading her to make decisions that are morally questionable. This reflects the religious and social pressure put on women to fulfill their roles as wives and mothers. This code connects motherhood transformation, leading to a new perception. Before Lucy, life seemed dull and limited, symbolized by color blindness. The world becomes brighter and he can see further, implying that parenthood expands one's perspective, bringing both joy and a deeper understanding of life's meaning and responsibilities. The fear of societal judgment, which is in the novel, is closely tied to religious ideas of sin and virtue, is a theme that come back and forth. The characters are aware that their actions will be judged not just by the law but also by the entire village of partageuses. The novel touches on the theme of theodicy, how a just and loving God can allow suffering is a central question in Christian theology. Isabel's miscarriages lead to her to question her life and implicitly the justice of God. Her suffering is a deep and shapes her actions throughout the novel. The personification in Still the Blood Came. The blood is described as having a will of its own, symbolizing the relentless nature of suffering. Isabel's refusal to seek help reflects the emotional struggle to find meaning in suffering, a central theme of theodicy. Her decision to keep Lucy can be seen as an attempt to find meaning and purpose in her suffering, a way to cope with God's past injustice toward her.
Furthermore, Isabel's suffering can be compared to the biblical figure Job, who also endured immense personal loss and questioned the reasons behind his suffering. However, unlike Job, who ultimately submits to God's will, as seen in this quote from the Bible, "The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord," from Job 1:21. Isabel takes matters into her own hands, reflecting a more modern, perhaps more human, response to suffering and injustice. This contrast highlights the novel's exploration of how individuals cope with suffering in a world where divine justice is not always evident. Religion in The Light Between Oceans serves as a backdrop that informs the characters' moral struggles and the narrative's thematic depth. The novel's exploration of right and wrong, sin and redemption, and the role of religious and societal expectations contribute to the understanding of human condition. Through its subtle use of religious themes, imagery, and moral dilemmas, the novel raises timeless questions about the nature of justice, the burden of guilt, and the possibility of redemption. Questions that resonate deeply within the context of Christian theology, but also extend beyond it to the broader human experience.